Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I appreciate your efforts and members of the committee to listen to members, I think, make our um, most sincere comments with regards to challenges facing not only our congressional districts, but the regions we represent as well as our country. Uh, there are a number of issues that I feel very strongly about. I've been a member of this committee for 17 years. And prior to that, I've been working on resource issues and water issues in California for more time than I care to count. But the fact is that there are a number of factors that I think have come together that create opportunities. Um, First, I think most of us are clearly aware of the impacts that climate change is having, not only in our country and around the world, but certainly in the West and in California. We are now in another periodical drought period. And this is not new. This is the third drought we've had in 12 years. In the West and in California, it's either feast or famine. We have more water than we know what we can do with, or we are in extremely dry periods. The challenge of COVID-19 and the impacts it's had on our communities throughout the country have been severe. But our water resources are critical. And I think with the president's focus on investing in our infrastructure, because we have been living off the investments our parents and grandparents made a generation ago, we have opportunities to do some good bipartisan work. This committee holds jurisdiction over federal water infrastructure projects across our nation that are critical to conveying and delivering water to all of our communities. As we continue to see chronic hydrological drought conditions in the West, we must seek an all of above strategy. I yet like to say use all the water tools in our water toolbox. Flexibility and accessibility are a must if we're going to create resilient solutions to managing our resources. As California continues to see worse drought conditions each year, my legislation, H.R. 2552, the Canal Conveyance Capacity Restoration Act, funds repairs for 3 critical canals in California that convey water to cities, to farms, and to people who are most in need. The legislation will provide more than $653 million to fund repairs on 3 major canals from north to south in the state, an additional $180 million dedicated to restore salmon restoration, which is part of an agreement that we reached over 12 years ago on the San Joaquin River. These canals were built over a half century ago. They're vital and pieces of water infrastructure responsible for carrying water for agricultural use and municipal use. Critical, critical. Nobody should ever have to go without the accessibility to clean drinking water, and we have communities, sadly, that are in that state. In addition to restoring these canals, it will help improve California's drought resiliency combined with efforts that are going on in the state to comply with getting our groundwater back in balance. We have a very, very important Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, but unless the state and the federal government works together on these complex, difficult issues, we're never going to be successful in reaching that balance. So all of the above approach is critical. We have to use all the water tools in our water toolbox. Part of that effort, and we had a meeting earlier this week with Congressman Mike Thompson and others, is to better manage our forests. This goes back decades. We've done a poor job of managing our forests, and California has now decided to take a big effort in doing this. We need to match that in Western states. The horrific fires that we've had over the last 4 years have resulted in devastating impacts, but they've also reduced our ability to take advantage of our water resources in terms of recharge capability and ensuring that we use every precious drop of water that we can. Clearly, we know that our snowpacks are varying and that we have to manage our water projects differently. But if we work together, which is always the difficult challenge, whether it's in California and other parts of the country, to take advantage of President's desire to invest in infrastructure, there are some opportunities here in the near term to plan for the long term. And that's part of what this legislation and other pieces of legislation. I want to thank Chairman Huffman, working with him and his subcommittee on water, and Chairman Gravel with the Natural Resources Committee, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.